Hello and welcome to episode number 71 of the Scottish History Podcast. My name is Owen Innes, and on this particular episode I'm just going to take a little bit of time to explain my recent absence and explain how things are going to be moving forward with this podcast. So join me for episode number 71 as I just give you a little update as to what's going on. So first of all, everybody, again, welcome back. It's been a little while since I've produced an episode, so I first of all do apologise for that. There has been kind of a lot going on, as I'm sure you can imagine, Christmas and New Year and everything, getting all that out of the way. So first of all, I will start off by saying Happy New Year to you all. I hope that you have a very exciting and prosperous New Year. Now, of course, over the last month or so, I've been busy. I had my brother's wedding and then, of course, contracted coronavirus, which was great fun, if you can sense the sarcasm in my voice there. But basically what I've been up to is just working, basically, since New Year. It's been very, very busy, obviously, in Edinburgh and things like that, despite the recent kind of crowd management, we shall say, which caused the postponement of the Edinburgh Hogmanay party and the fireworks and everything like that, which was a real shame. But of course, with the Omicron variant of coronavirus going absolutely crazy in Scotland and elsewhere in the world, of course, that it was completely understandable. Now, what has actually been happening also is I had an interview with a tour company. So basically, I will be starting work as a tour guide once again. And that will be happening basically a week from today, on the 24th of January. My 35th birthday, I will be going back into the profession that got really this whole thing started. I'm going to be going to work for a company called Haggis Adventures, who are also Highland Explorer Tours. So if you want to check them out, if you're thinking about coming over to Scotland or coming up to Scotland, or if you're already in Scotland and you want to join in on a little day tour from Edinburgh, then they are a great company, award-winning company in order to do so. So basically, on next Monday, I will be going to Orkney, believe it or not, for a training trip. So I'll be going to Orkney and then for the first time ever onto the islands of Lewis and Harris. And simply, folks, I just cannot wait. What I'm going to be doing is over the next week or so, I'm still working, so this is my last day off before I then go back to work my last 4 days at the company that I currently work for. And then next Saturday and Sunday will be a little bit of kind of respite, but I'm hoping to get some kind of episode, a proper history episode out to you next week, hopefully on Sunday. And then on Monday, as I say, I'm going to be away for 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days, to the Highlands and Islands of Scotland once again for the first time in, it must be over 3 years now. I mean, this podcast has only been going for 2, but it's, it was about a year or so out of the game, I suppose, out of the touring game, before that all started, of course. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to be getting back out onto the road and sharing the stories that you hear on this exact podcast, and of course many other different stories that we haven't quite got around to yet. So what that will also help as well, folks, is that will also help me kind of start thinking more outside of the box when it comes to doing these episodes. Of course, being out there and remembering various different things. For example, the Kelpies was one. I've never done an episode on the Kelpies. I don't think I've ever talked about Kelpies. This kind of mythical creature in Scotland. So what I might do next week is I might talk about more mythical creatures. I think, we have already covered the Loch Ness Monster, for example. So, to cover more of Scotland's mythical creatures is probably a good kind of stepping stone for me to get back into this. And the best thing as well is I will be able to update my Instagram every so often now and post pictures when I'm actually out on tour in these sorts of places. It's obviously something that's been very, very difficult for me over the last couple of years doing this podcast, is trying to talk about places that I've never been to before. I've had people asking me about talking about Lewis and Harris. I can't really talk about Lewis and Harris from a personal point of view because I've never been there before. So by going there, that's going to help me out and be able to give you this a much better understanding because I understand it myself. For example, St Kilda, I did an episode on St Kilda. I've never been to St Kilda. So, it's not from personal experience, the whole thing. But again, folks, I'm absolutely, you might be able to tell in my voice, I'm absolutely buzzing to get back out onto the road and get back out doing what I love to do, and combining those two things. Unfortunately, the one of the things that I enjoy doing too much is driving buses. I'm a little bit sad that way. So driving buses and talking nonsense on a daily basis is something that I'm looking forward to doing once again. So folks, I know that I posted this up on my Facebook page, but I know that a lot of people don't follow the Facebook page. I mean, there's about 20,000 people listen to this podcast per episode, and there's only about 1,000 people follow on Facebook, and that's totally and utterly understandable. If you're on Facebook and you don't follow the page, I do recommend that you do so. I don't inundate you with messages and updates every single day. It's basically an update for if there's something going on or when a new episode is uploaded. So if you want, please head over and like the Facebook page. Head over and like the Instagram page, because like I said, certainly over the next week or so, next week when I venture across to Orkney and Lewis and Harris, I will be taking pictures and I will be sharing them on Instagram. So head across to the Instagram as well. I also really want to thank everybody for all of the emails and messages that I've been receiving over the last kind of couple of weeks. It seems as though the podcast kind of throughout the course of December, which is understandable, it's winter time. For some of us, it's very cold. In Australia, for example, it's very hot. So no one's kind of going to be sitting about listening to podcasts or wanting to write emails or messages to someone that they don't really know. But thank you so very much for all of those messages and things. I do apologise that for some of you, it took me almost over a month to respond. Again, just December was just so full of things going on. If you send me a message, like a Facebook message, I tend to respond to it quite quickly. But when it comes to the emails and things like that, it's to sit down at the PC after doing a 12-hour shift at work can be a little bit difficult to do. Again, folks, I cannot wait. I'm so excited to get back out onto the road and be able to properly get this podcast back on the go. Because another thing that's going to end up happening is I'm going to be away quite a lot as well. So I am going to be on the Isle of Skye for 1 or 2 nights. I'm going to be in Inverness. I'm going to be in Orkney, Lewis and Harris, and Oban, and all of these different places. So when I finish my tour for the day, I can sit down, relax, read a book, and write a new episode whilst I'm away, rather than at the moment where basically I only have, 1 or 2 days off a week in order to write an episode. So what ends up happening is I can end up being way too tired to sit down, or I want to spend time with my fiance and things like that, so things, life kind of does get in the way. But this podcast has been brilliant for me. It's been brilliant for my mental health over the last couple of years. So, I feel so bad when I let people down and not putting out an episode. So that's why I apologise all the time, because I feel like I'm letting you down by not putting out an episode. So, but yeah, I'm just starting to ramble now. So it's a nice, beautiful day outside. I'm going to go for a nice walk, and clear the cobwebs out there and start thinking about this podcast and how to get this back up to the sort of regular once a week episodes that it started off being. So once again, folks, thank you so very much for all of your support. So again, if you want to follow me on the Instagram, then you just search for Scott History Pod, or at Scott History Pod. Twitter is exactly the same. Facebook is facebook.com/Scott History Pod. If you want to send me one of those wonderful emails, you can do so via scotthistorypod@gmail.com. Go onto the website, which is scotthistorypod.com. Simple as that. You can contact me in so many different ways. It is unreal. And that's another reason why it takes so long to contact people back, because I get emails and messages on so many different levels. So again, folks, thank you so very much for listening. And next week I will hopefully have something a little bit more exciting than just me rambling into my microphone for 11 minutes and 7 seconds. So thank you so very much. Take care of yourselves. Again, I hope that you have a lovely new year, and I hope that you had a lovely Christmas, if that's your sort of thing. And I will speak to you again next week.